the NBA on NBC. The 2000 playoffs. Today, it's the Miami Heat versus the New York Knicks.
Madison Square Garden on Mother's Day, where bouquets are not just for moms, but also reserved for the stars of Game 4. In the playoffs, heroes are made and broken without regard to age and experience. Just ask Patrick Ewing, one of the NBA's 50 greatest. Or on the other end of the scale, rookie Anthony Carter of Miami, who faced a crucial test Friday after the Knicks had stolen home court advantage in Game 2. In Game 3, Ewing hit a clutch jumper to force overtime. But in a mirror of a career full of highs and lows, he missed one of two crucial free throws in the extra period, setting the stage for Carter's impossible shot.
When AC took off on the flyer, I'm going, what a shame. What a shame we got to this point. We can't win this game.
I thought, no, please don't take it. You know, it was a nightmare.
Carter got his wish as the officials ruled there was no basket interference and no illegal shot from behind the backboard. The rookie had given the Heat a 2-1 series edge, and now New York faces a crucial Game 4 at Madison Square Garden in full throat, sold out for the 343rd consecutive time. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Garden, and happy Mother's Day. Tom Hammond with Bill Walton and Steve Snapper Jones. In all the hoopla, Steve, about Carter's shot, it was ignored, perhaps, that a decisive rebounding edge fell Miami's way, and Alonzo Mourning continues to be a real force inside.
Yeah, he's a huge force, and they would not have gotten to the Carter shot if it hadn't been for the consistent play of Alonzo Mourning. This is a player that has now learned how to play with contained fury. He is the emotional leader of this team, and when his emotions are right and his game is tight, the Alonzo Mourning Miami Heat are tough to beat, and they're really trying to put the noose around the neck of the New York Knicks. The number for Mourning, 20 or more. If he gets that, it's a ball game Heat.
And for New York, Bill, in Game 3, they got Sprewell and Houston untracked, but they can't seem to all get on the same page. The front line had a poor game.
Tom, in a series where offense is at a premium, it's imperative that somebody stand up and make at least one shot. Now, Allen Houston and Latrell Sprewell came alive in Game 3. An inconsistent performance by the two offensive weapons down in Miami, but a great night Friday, even though they shot 36%. But what about the front line? Patrick Ewing, Larry Johnson, Marcus Camby could not seem to get anything done as they shot a woeful 27%. Now, the front line for the New York Knicks was badly outplayed in Game 1 and Game 3. If the Knicks are going to win and move on, they are not going to be able to withstand that. A big test, though, will also be the psychological impact of the devastating shot by Anthony Carter. If the Knicks can't recover and come with energy and spirit, they're going to have a tough time today.
Well, this series often suffers a bit artistically, perhaps, but as Pat Riley said, he hopes those who love competition will not judge the series on the score. And how close are they? Well, all time in the playoffs, they are dead even, 10 and 10, 4 and 4 at the Garden. Game 4 is coming up.
The NBA on NBC is brought to you by Miller Lite. The coolest stuff in the world is at Miller's Get the Goods Online auction. By the new generation in communications, WorldCom Generation D. And by Adidas. Long live sport.
Beautiful Mother's Day in the Big Apple, and we're ready for Game 4. Here are the starters. Brown, Mashburn, Mourning, Hardaway, and Marley for the Heat. As Hardaway continues to start, though he didn't play much in the second half in Game 3. Johnson, Sprewell, Ewing, Ward, and Houston for the New York Knicks. And there is Tim Hardaway. Of course, he missed the opening round series with the Pistons with a foot injury and was able to play in this series, but not always effectively. And it was Anthony Carter that had most of the minutes in Game 3. And Jamal Mashburn continues to be a force in the playoffs, redeeming himself from poor playoff performances in years past.
You know, both Both coaches say about this ball game that it's about emotion in a contest that's almost virtually dead even.
It doesn't get much more even than that, does it?
10-10, 6-6, 4-4. 1 point difference, and that's a tough way to think about a series.
The New York Knicks have to get back to that aggressive offensive mentality that they had against Toronto that has not surfaced in this series. They need greater respect and the fear of failure to be their source of motivation.
Ron Garrettson, Ed F. Rush, Jack Nees, the officials, and Game 4 underway as Mourning controls the tap. Hardaway backing in against Charlie Ward. Ward has been an unsung hero for the Knicks in this series, especially in their win in Miami in Game 2. Mashburn for three. Jamal Mashburn comes in hitting 58% from three-point range throughout the playoffs.
But you can see that the Knicks strategy right off the bat, double team with Charlie Ward off of Tim Hardaway, figuring he can't get it done, and then attack at the other end. Ward's runner won't fall.
And Mourning the outlet to Hardaway. Hardaway to Brown, who lost it and picked up by Tim. Mashburn with the entry pass to Brown. He's being checked by Larry Johnson. Mashburn, nice pass. Caught P.J. Brown by surprise.
You've got to catch that ball. That's right in the midsection.
They're giving Charlie Ward chances to be an offensive player today, and we'll find out whether he's going to be as good as he was in Game 2 and 3. But it's critical that they attack Hardaway and see exactly what he has and whether he's going to be a factor in the game at all.
Brown on the pick and roll, picked up by Ewing, and once again has trouble catching the ball. Shot clock at 5. Hardaway for three.
P.J. Brown was spectacular in Game 1 and Game 3, the 2 games that the Heat won.
Sprewell fakes Mashburn, misses the shot. Here's Mashburn on the other end, cut off by Johnson.
Miami seems to have a real nice bounce to their step. Great confidence.
Marley for three. Dan Marley for three. Pat Riley was concerned at practice yesterday because he said he thought his players had exhaled a little bit, relaxed a little bit. No sign of that today.
Well, I know it's important to get off to a good start, but we've also seen that a good start doesn't mean anything in this series because they both have these long droughts and can't score the ball.
It is a quick start, though, for the Miami Heat here. Welcome back to the Garden. Miami has taken three-point shots exclusively, hitting 2 of 3. And New York opens the game 0 for 3.
Miami continuing to do a terrific job on their defensive backboards, limiting New York to 1 shot per possession, and those are perimeter bombs by Charlie Ward, and he turns the ball over. No, Tim Hardaway can't believe this call. He just laughs it off.
What the Knicks need right now is just a hoop to get themselves into the ball game. And maybe part of their strategy is get their drought out of the way early so they can come back and start shooting the ball. Houston with a miss.
0 for 4, the Knicks. But they'll get another chance. That one off Jamal Mashburn and out of bounds.
One problem that the Knicks are facing as they've got off to a disastrous start is that they're trying to attack too much through Charlie Ward. That's not the strength of their team. Where's Sprewell in Houston?
Larry Johnson posting up on the bigger Brown. Now facing up. LJ short. And Miami's 0 for 5 to open the game.
The Heat staying in single coverage on Larry Johnson. A much more effective way to defend him. He's better at passing and setting up his teammates than finishing himself.
Marley with the entry pass to Mourning, facing his old friend Patrick Ewing.
He does not like this side of the floor, and they do a good thing of doubling and making him make a mistake.
Houston in the passing lane to pick it off. Sprewell with a finish. So defense leads to offense to get New York on the scoreboard. Here's a loose ball picked up by Houston. Ward. Larry Johnson with a putback.
Finally, an offensive rebound. Finally, a steal for the Knicks defense. Finally, transition opportunities. Bring the crowd to life.
I remember when we were in Miami for game one, how nervous that crowd was, and they wanted their team to get off to a good start. I sense the same thing here. Crowd didn't really get into it until they got a couple of good plays, and they're silenced by that Mourning shot.
Mourning took it right to Patrick Ewing. His first basket. He has 3 rebounds already. Now defending Ewing. Houston for 3. Way off the mark on that one. On the floor to P.J. Brown.
He was too eager, too quick with that shot. It got away from him.
Marley, his second three-pointer of the first period, and Miami's lead back to 7, their biggest.
Marley, the only player for the Miami Heat with championship level experience, played in the '93 finals with Phoenix against Michael Jordan, was a dead-eye three-point shooter at that point.
So the feature on Marley, who's overcome the back surgeries, and Pat Riley paying him high compliment yesterday as Sprewell hits again. Riley saying Marley is one of the best he's ever coached at carrying out the game plan, maintaining that continuity.
Oh, he's the ultimate team player.
Brown, they concede him the shot. He can't hit it. Houston takes it the other way.
Mistakes in the open court is what the Knicks are trying to eliminate, and Sprewell comes quickly. Could have probably gotten closer with that shot.
Threes in transition, that's the best part of NBA basketball today.
Meanwhile, Tim Hardaway has assisted on all 4 Miami field goals.
I thought it was only good if you made the shot.
Nice swing past P.J. Brown.
Alonzo Mourning can't hit the jump shot. Johnson the rebound. Charlie Ward. LJ already with 3 rebounds.
Very few fast break opportunities. Peter doing a terrific job floor balance, but Ewing answers in the delayed transition offense.
That signature Ewing jump shot, his first basket. The lead is 3. Ewing went for the steal. Mourning finds the open man. Marley misses that 3. And Allen Houston another rebound. Jeff Van Gundy pounding into his players' heads. We have got to hit the boards.
The attitude is really sunk back into the guards. Who he feels has great size, but they don't rebound with the right attitude.
Sprewell right in the face now. 3 for 5 shooting. Sprewell, who's off early, 6 points. But going at Alonzo Mourning, the league's premier shot blocking center.
Mashburn went right by Sprewell to get to the baseline and then knocks down the jump shot for his 5th point.
Remember game 3 that both teams started off with house of fire, and they eventually backed up to their personalities, which is about 30 or 40%. So right now we're seeing shots made. We better put this in some sort of crystal ball.
Larry Johnson makes one.
When Larry Johnson can hit that spot up without having to back his man down, without having to take 10 or 12 dribbles to get his shot up, it's going to set a lot of things up with the New York set offense.
Mashburn couldn't get the roll off the rim, and New York with a chance to take the lead.
Mashburn has emerged as a legitimate playoff star this series.
Mourning went to help, but Ewing couldn't convert the jump shot.
Oh, they got Mourning wide open. They missed it.
Hardaway for 3.
Nice pass.
Marley. Follow shot, though, is short.
A great pass by Hardaway right off the rim to Dan Marley. He couldn't get it to him the conventional way.
Ewing throws it down and 1.
Latrell Sprewell making it happen on the pump fake. It's right by Dan Marley. Nothing that Alonzo Mourning can do about it.
Well, Larry Johnson has not been as good in the other games as he was in game 1, but he gets his first chance to score. And Patrick Ewing showing that he can still run the floor, and with 2 hands, brings the crowd to their feet.
Back at the Garden where the Knicks have taken their first lead. And let's check in with our sideline reporter now, Jim Gray. Jim?
All right, thank you, Tom. Well, the team that has won Game 3 the last 2 years in this series has gone on to lose Game 4. So we asked Pat Riley if it's normal for his team to have a letdown after a big victory.
Yeah, it is normal. Yeah, it's being human. But you know what? If you want to be human in the playoffs, go to the museum. Exhale at all those wonderful statues and Michelangelo's and stuff. I mean, you're on the Garden playing the Knicks here, okay? And you're in a warrior type of environment, and you got to play like warriors, and you don't have time to exhale here. And if you're going to fall prey to being human, then you're going to lose.
So Pat Riley agitated with his team yesterday when he did see, he thought, a sign of their relaxing and exhaling, and drilled into them the importance of playing hard, doubly hard, he said it would take for them to win today. Tim Hardaway is off to a good start.
He did not really get into the game 3 offensively, so he is at least making an effort to get some shots in the air, and for him, that's a huge sign.
But there's also that fine line that Pat Riley sometimes crosses when the team is so tight, when the team is so focused that it's all about effort. This is a game. This is about poetry. This is about teamwork. This is about human personalities coming out to perform. You got to be able to come up from being down.
I never thought I'd heard you say this is just a game.
A simple game to be played, and that players make plays, plays don't make players.
Marcus Camby makes his first appearance in the New York lineup. And they're going to play with 6 unless somebody leaves. Allen Houston.
He wanted no part of coming out. He said, what's Camby coming in for me for?
You know, he wants to get into the game offensively. Van Gundy sees he's a little bit tight. Give him a minute to get himself together. He's going to have to get back in the game and score some points.
Hardaway with an incredible contribution here, playing on this severely injured ankle.
Tough shot by Mashburn, comes up short. Air ball into the hands of Camby. Here's Ward bouncing to Sprewell. Camby.
Transition basket. First play of the game, Camby gets a defensive rebound, gets the delayed break opportunity. Pat Riley cannot be pleased with the way the Heat are giving up transition opportunities on a consistent basis.
Marley finds Brown. That ball tipped. Ward. They get out of bounds off Charlie Ward. Miami gets it back with 7 on the shot clock.
The one thing that the New York Knicks have done in this ball game early is push the ball and then move it to the other side of the floor. And Camby, who lives off of other players' efforts, finishes the play.
Some boos as Anthony Carter enters the Miami lineup. The man who learned that shot perhaps playing on the playgrounds in Atlanta, as P.J. Brown just beats the shot clock buzzer. And Carter told us as he was walking through the streets of New York yesterday, people were yelling at him, yeah, lucky shot, Merry Christmas.
But that's what makes playing in New York so great. The entire city just so involved in every part of the game. Sprewell is electric today.
He has 8 points in this first quarter, and the Knicks back up by 2. Sprewell's hit 4 of his 6 shots.
Carter had on a bright yellow shirt yesterday, so he couldn't be mistaken. And I think he wanted to just stick it to the people here in New York. He took himself a nice long afternoon walk.
Morning double team. Carter leaves it again for Brown. He's blocked by Camby. Mashburn beats the shot. No, he did not beat the shot clock. No basket.
Now, Pat Riley will live with the effort. They got it right at the rim.
Timeout with New York leading Miami by 2. Welcome back to the Garden. Earlier we heard Pat Riley, and if you think he was on edge about this game, listen to Jeff Van Gundy as he challenged his Knicks to get more physical.
It comes down to it's not fun. You're going to get hit, you're going to have to put your body on the line, and if you don't want to win, you're going to stay away from the fray. If you do want to win, you're going to put your body in the mix, you're going to get banged up, you're going to hit, you're going to take some hits. That's how you win. Think I'm angry about it? All right? Go ahead. This is like a catharsis for me. Go ahead.
There's nothing worse than seeing your guys get pushed around, shoved around, and that's what's happened here, particularly on the home court, as mourning P.J. Brown, Mashburn had such dominating series, particularly in games 1 and game 3.
But that attitude that Van Gundy has, which is a fighting spirit, is what allowed him to survive here in New York.
And there's an offensive rebound, just what Van Gundy was calling for. It comes from his veteran center, Patrick Ewing, who knocks it home.
Everything that went against New York in Game 3 is working in their favor now. They got fast break point edge. They got offensive rebounding. They got shooting, front court production, and a steal by Charlie Ward.
Ward continues to do the small things that help New York succeed. Here's his three-pointer. Good!
The much maligned Charlie Ward, who often gets criticized for not doing enough. But he's the guy that makes it all happen because he doesn't want to shoot. And now he comes here with a double team, forcing Mourning to give it up.
After Ward hit that three, as Carter throws it away. Sprewell. Marley fouled him. After Ward hit that three, he had a huge grin as he came back up court.
This is a different New York team in terms of just their attitude after they have forced mistakes. They're hustling on the offensive glass. They're hitting the open man, and everything is clicking. After they've gotten off to a slow start, they have come together, and they have control of the first quarter.
New York on a 20-6 run as Sprewell toes the line. Miami's turned it over 6 times. And New York has not turned it over yet. Log on to MSNBCSports.com and click on Showtime Online for in-depth playoff coverage. Commentary from Isaiah Thomas and Bill Walton. Special features, including Matt Gukas on whether this is the Pacers' best chance. Steve Jones on the title drive by the resurgent Blazers. That's all at MSNBCSports.com, the official website of NBC Sports.
Did you see where MSNBC.com won a Webby over the weekend? Yesterday in San Francisco, the award handed out. Congratulations to the entire staff of MSNBC for the Webby.
Mourning from Carter. Second bucket for Alonzo Mourning. We're in the final minute of the first quarter.
You know, whenever Riley gets in trouble, they start to try to find Mourning. So when we come back to the second quarter, let's see if he gets chances to score the ball.
Sprewell.
Sprewell is so aggressive offensively, and that's a great sign for New York.
A rare miss for Latrell in this first quarter as the Heat set it up. Carter penetrates, and another circus shot. This one also goes in. Left hand, falling away from the basket, makes it a 5-point New York lead.
The halftime score in Game 3 was 37-36. Superior offense this afternoon as teams have loosened up and got a lot more assertive.
Bill, don't get carried away. These are the Knicks. And the last game was 68 at the end of 4.
An offensive foul called on Latrell Sprewell.
That was great defense.
First turnover by the Knicks.
Latrell Sprewell, who's been able to go by Marley at will throughout this first quarter, finally Dan anticipates the right way. Picks up the offensive foul against Sprewell.
And Kurt Thomas is set to come in for the Knicks. He'll replace Ewing. Van Gundy saying he didn't have any enforcers on his team unless maybe they could light the fuse to Kurt Thomas.
Well, you know, Thomas is a strange character, and every now and then
I totally disagree.
Every now and then he's going to do something strange.
We've only got 7 seconds. I'm just coming out. That's an incorrect statement.
Johnson with the foul. They had a foul to give. 4.2 seconds left.
Larry Johnson doing the little things, denying Mashburn possession so that he can't be the hero as we come to the close of the first quarter.
Brown, as the quarter comes to a close, that shot was no good by Carter. So Latrell Sprewell was the man that the Knicks needed to get on track, and he responds with 10 points in the first quarter today in Game 4. At the end of the first period, New York 26 and Miami 21. You're watching the NBA playoffs on NBC. Ready to start the second quarter at the Garden. The Knicks leading the Heat by 5. And while we were away, Tim Hardaway had a little discussion with Ed F. Rush, which results in a technical foul called on Hardaway.
And we'll begin the second quarter with a tee.
That tells you the officials are a little on edge, too.
I never understood why you'd want to get into it with a referee, particularly during such a quiet moment. You've got the lead in the series. You've got the home court advantage back. You're going to need these referees. If there's a judgment call and they're out there thinking that this guy's all over my case, I'm not going to give it to him.
Charlie Ward will shoot the technical foul.
Well, circle the run, because that's really what changed the complexion of the game. And I'm sure Pat Riley's going to tell these guys, A, they got to get back in transition defense. They got to take better care of the basketball in order to win this game, which they feel would give them that room to relax.
But the fact that Miami, the younger team, the faster team, maybe a deeper team, has got 0 fast break points. The floor balance for the offensive execution by the Knicks has been superb this afternoon.
Man, I don't think they're the deeper team. But we'll discuss that as we go along.
27-21 after Ward makes the technical free throw.
Whenever Larry Johnson holds that ball, you know he's going to shoot. And you can almost predict when he gets it. If he takes it, passes, and moves it really quickly, but when he gets it on that side of the floor, he's going to shoot. You got to be thinking about rebounding on both teams.
Alonzo Mourning has been thinking about rebounding, 5 already.
Witherspoon, who had virtually every shot attempt blocked by Marcus Camby in Game 3.
A runner by Mashburn, no good, and then Camby knocks it out of Mourning's hand. Houston to Ward. Looking inside for Thomas, but thinking better of it.
Miami's not double teaming Larry Johnson. Knicks were standing around waiting. That's hurting him.
Houston double team momentarily. Good defensive rotation. Thomas misses the shot up against the clock. And the rebound to Brown.
P.J. Brown's numbers have skyrocketed. He's a result type player. He's a statistical player whose numbers come. Oh, Kurt Thomas banging Alonzo Mourning away from the ball. But when Mourning is on the defensive prowl, that allows P.J. Brown to get his rebounds. Inside now, Alonzo Mourning working for the deep position. Kurt Thomas outsized by Alonzo.
The Heat had an early 7-point lead. And the Knicks have gotten one, but we know that both teams will go through stretches where they can't score. And this is the big chance for the Miami Heat right here to start some offensive momentum inside the Mourning.
3 seconds. And a 3-second violation is called. Miami turns it over again. That's the 7th turnover compared to only 1 by the Knicks.
Where's the offense going to come from New York? Larry Johnson is not hot this afternoon. That means Allen Houston, all on his shoulders, with Sprewell on the bench.
Houston didn't score in that first quarter, so let's see if they get him going.
That's a tough shot. You spin all the way around the wrong direction and still nothing but net.
Allen with his first field goal. He's 1 for 4. New York with an 8-point lead.
The scoring becomes frontline dominated and led by Mourning, but they get another turnover. Mourning a travel.
They're not giving Alonzo Mourning any space, and Pat Riley is very upset about how Miami is getting into their offense. You got to give him room if he's going to make those moves to keep the outside guys from flicking in with those long arms that the Knicks perimeter defenders have.
8 Miami turnovers.
Running the same play for Houston.
Ball away shot short this time. Carter in a hurry for Miami. Bruce Bowen into the game for the Heat, running the floor, now getting the pass and driving on Houston. He'll shoot 2 free throws as Allen Houston commits his first foul.
Houston.
They've got a timeout with 9:39 left till halftime. An 8-point New York lead.
The NBA on NBC is brought to you by Brewery Fresh Budweiser, the official beer sponsor of the NBA. By Chevrolet Trucks, the most dependable, longest-lasting trucks on the road. And by the motor oil that provides maximum protection. Castrol GTX. Drive hard.
Back in New York, Tim Hardaway has taken his left shoe off. Of course, he's had the bad sprained left foot for some time. It is giving him some trouble. He has considerable pain. He re-aggravated it in Game 3. Now, Tim Hardaway said before the game he was going to come out and see how long he could go. During that timeout, he told Ron Culp he thinks he can put his shoe back on and will return to the game, but they're just going to play it by ear and see how it goes. Tom?
All right, Jim. So Tim Hardaway got off to a good start, assisting on Miami's first 4 field goals and hitting one himself, but unable to go any further, apparently.
It's just so very tough for Tim. He's one of the great gentlemen this game has. When you have to take your shoe off, that means it's just burning too much.
And you wonder about his status for the U.S. Olympic team later this year in September in Sydney. Bruce Bowen hits the first 2 free throws of the game by Miami. And the lead is 6. Otis Thorpe into the game for the Heat.
Mild-mannered Allen Houston was on fire about the non-call he'd gotten the previous time down the floor against Bruce Bowen, and then he got nicked for the foul, so he talked his way into this chance to get to the free throw line, because normally he's not a guy that complains, and with the contact that we've seen, not a lot of contact on that Houston effort.
But great offensive players, as soon as they see the guy lean in, as soon as they see the guy exhale, they know to just get that shot up, initiate the contact.
Big finale Thursday coming this week with a 1-hour Friends engagement finale, followed by the 1-hour Frazier wedding finale and the ER finale. That will knock your socks off. Big finale Thursday on NBC. Allen Houston, who called home to Louisville to speak to his mom Alice today. His mom had been in New York seeing her granddaughter earlier in the week. Allen has 4 points.
The Knicks are going to have a real good time of making the Heat work against the clock. P.J. Brown over the top. I mean, they've got guys out there now that need help from one another in terms of offensive execution to get a shot, and New York should really be aggressive at the point of attack.
The Knicks are the shortest team in the NBA. P.J. Brown exploiting Larry Johnson just being 6'5".
Kurt Thomas. And Otis Thorpe has it for Miami.
And Gundy realizing the offense is sputtering, coming quickly back with Latrell Sprewell.
Weatherspoon against Camby. In Game 3, he continually challenged the 7-footer and continually ate his shots. So he's going to try him from outside. Can't hit there either.
What is the record for most shots of your own getting blocked in a game? I think he challenged that, Clarence Weatherspoon.
Well, one thing he did was put a real stick in his head about really coming inside. The strength of his game is inside and not out, and Camby's got him playing deep on the perimeter.
Chris Childs at the point for the New York Knicks now. Allen Houston bumped as he tried to make a cut.
Sprewell is a tough matchup for Weatherspoon.
Who fouls him? Clarence with his first foul.
It's just not a good lineup right now for Pat Riley if Sprewell and Houston are going to be so aggressive on the offensive end. First foul on Weatherspoon. Who's going to guard Sprewell?
Well, Jamal Mashburn is back in. It will likely be Mashburn that has the defensive assignment, as he has much of the series on the trail.
Bruce Bowen has done a good job of getting into Allen Houston's head. During that first free throw, he spent the entire time talking to Jack Neese about the guy holding it and grabbing him, and we'll find out whether he gets any relief. 2 for Sprewell.
But watching Bowen and Marley and the defensive wizardry against Houston and Sprewell has been beautiful.
Childs with a little backcourt pickup of Carter, taking some time off the clock. Bowen fumbled but recovered. Now Mashburn, low post against Sprewell. Shoots over him, got the roll. Mashburn exploiting his size advantage on Sprewell.
He didn't get inside in Game 3. They kept him out on the perimeter. He had a tough day from the field in terms of making 2-point field goals. He was 4 for 4 from 3, all in the corner.
7 points in this game for Mashburn, as a holding foul called on Anthony Carter, checking Allen Houston.
The offense for the Heat has to come right now from Jamal Mashburn. With Anthony Carter having trouble advancing the ball against Chris Childs, With Bruce Bowen not being the smooth, efficient ball handler, Sprewell can't get the quick jumper to go.
Thomas tapped twice before the Heat can recover. Just over 7 minutes left till halftime. New York leads by 6.
When you look back on last year's 5-game series, it was really only one close game, and now a 6-point lead is about as big a lead as you'll see. Last year it was 15, 18, but nobody can pull away, and it's because they know each other so well and because they're both jump shooting teams that they go through stretches where they just don't get baskets.
Chris Childs committing his first foul as Carter sinks the free throw. Coming up next, must-win game for the old folks, Karl Malone and the Jazz, as they face the Portland Trailblazers. And in our late game, Shaq, Kobe, and the Lakers try to keep rolling against Penny Hardaway and the Suns as our NBA on NBC playoff tripleheader rolls on. Timeout here at the 7:07 mark, second quarter, with New York leading Miami 33-27.
Happy Mother's Day, Mom.
Hey, Mom. Happy Mother's Day.
Mother's Day greetings for Cindy Van Gundy from opposite ends of Madison Square Garden this afternoon. Jeff Van Gundy, head coach of the Knicks, and his brother Stan, a Miami assistant. And with another mom on this special day, let's go to Jim Gray.
Indeed, that's right, Tom. I'm now joined by Mrs. Helen Mashburn, Jamal's mom. Now, you drove your son all those years to all those practices. Now here on Mother's Day, you get a chance to watch him. You advise him quite a bit. What have you told him about today's game?
Well, that's all. Oh, what did I tell him? Can't say. I just told him to have a good day.
Have a good day. Big Yankee fan, wasn't he, growing up?
Yes.
Was he more into baseball as the son growing up?
Mm-hmm. He was into more to baseball.
You allocate the tickets here, and he told you if you don't come during the regular season, you can't come in the playoffs. Is that right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yes, he did. He did.
We're glad you're here. Enjoy the day. Nice to see you, Mrs. Mashburn. All right, Tom.
All right, Jim. Well, Helen is a woman of few words, but according to Jamal, when it comes to allocating the tickets, she is one tough customer. And if you didn't come to see him in the regular season, you can forget about coming to the playoffs.
Allen Houston footwork is just exquisite. Just making the defense irrelevant.
And away from the ball, a whistle. And another 3-second violation.
Otis Thorpe gets caught anticipating the shot is going to be taken from the corner. He's trying to establish offensive rebounding position, which is his role. Shooters have to pull the trigger. If they're hesitant out there, as Miami has been throughout the afternoon, it kills your front line.
Well, they're running the same play for Allen Houston, which is a cross screen to try to get him a quick opportunity. This time they switch, and now the Knicks are playing against the clock.
Camby. Otis Thorpe hauls it down. Miami's been plagued by 9 turnovers here in the first half, and New York really taking care of the basketball. Only one miscue. That was an offensive foul by Sprewell.
But Miami's right there. Kurt Thomas and Marcus Camby, as Otis Thorpe knocks down the nice jumper. Camby and Kurt Thomas normally very productive for Van Gundy. Have not brought it this afternoon.
4-point game. New York's lead has been trimmed to 4. Marcus Camby. Bad looking shot on his drive.
The Knicks are in one of those stretches where they're not scoring the ball. Alonzo Mourning's going to get the foul as Riley comes unglued.
Alonzo Mourning rolls into the deep post position here. The New York Knicks defense stationary, battling him for position. Who's there first? Obviously it was the Knicks defense. Offensive foul, easy play to call.
Alonzo is responsible for half of the Miami turnovers. He's committed 5 by himself. New York as a team only 1. Ewing. Over the back, loose ball foul, Camby.
Well, the persistence to try to get to the offensive glass of Marcus Camby is admirable, trying to live up to his coach's dreams and expectations. Generally, you want to move your feet, though, to get around
Well, Hardaway's lacing up his shoes, and he's going to give it one more shot. Remember at the end of game 1 when he did the interview with Jim Gray, and he was saying his foot was on fire. Well, it's still been on fire. And, you know, he's a guy that gives the team a lot of confidence. But, you know, when you're struggling the way he is, it's going to be tough to keep that confidence flowing for your team.
Does have 5 assists in this game. And a foul on Childs.
Alonzo Mourning is not taking advantage of his greatest offensive weapon here. And when Alonzo tries to play back to the basket against Ewing, it's just tough. But Tim Hardaway, knowing that Childs is playing way too close, drives right by an automatic call.
Hardaway will have another.
The crowd has been relatively quiet here in New York. Generally at a fever pitch from the outset. Realizing that this series could quite conceivably go game 7, which would be next Sunday in Miami after playing Wednesday for game 5, Friday for game 6 back here in New York.
Miami's hit 5 of 6 at the free throw line now, while New York a perfect 8 for 8.
And the free throw line is what's keeping them in the ball game right now. They're not doing a great job of scoring. Turnover Houston.
Marley with a steal.
Nice pass.
Ashburn whips it inside to Mourning, and the jump hook goes in. Good ball movement by Miami as they get sort of a secondary break. A half dozen points for Alonzo, and it's a 1-point game.
Quick hitting plays for Miami. 3 guys involved. The big 3, the right 3.
Sprewell double team, splits them with a pass to Childs. Chris Childs' shot no good. Marley hands it off to Hardaway. Miami a chance to recapture the lead. Mashburn alone in the corner, calling for it. They don't see.
Like the statue, he was standing over with his hand up, and that's the spot where he was wearing the three-pointer out from. 10 on the clock.
They still don't see him. He's still there.
You got to jump up and down and start yelling for it.
Instead, Hardaway forces one, and then up against the shot clock has to heave it that way. Well, Mashburn, for 24 seconds, was standing alone in the corner, not a defender within 10 feet. And they never saw him.
Hand in the air, begging, please, please, please.
But again, that's the limitations that Tim Hardaway is playing under with those incredibly painful feet. He just can't move, he can't see, he can't create, he can't penetrate. Yet he's still out there playing and effectively.
He needs to sit down if he's all that bad.
That's right, I agree.
I mean, it's not a question.
So you're saying that you'd rather have Anthony Carter in there?
He can play. Right now, if Tim Hardaway is suffering from all the ailments that you say, and that last shot indicated that he is, he's not helping his team.
Larry Johnson as Anthony Carter gets a rest on the Miami bench.
There's a near triple-double for Anthony Carter in game 3.
New York still perfect at the free throw line, 9 for 9. As P.J. Brown comes in for Otis Thorpe.
Tim Hardaway now trying to make amends with the referees after drawing the technical foul early.
He's not talking to the one that gave him the tee, though.
Well, you don't want to go back there.
That's the guy you want to kiss and make up with.
New York by 3.
Turning face right now. You got the whole side to yourself. Turning face and drive to the hoop.
Riley wanting an illegal defense call as Houston went halfway to double team and stopped. Brown's fall away. Never got above the level of the rim, but back tip to Marley.
But you do everything right, and then you can't get your hands on a flat shot. That's really what drives Van Gundy up the wall. Ashburn.
Beautiful, beautiful. Mourning stayed after it, and on the second attempt, got it down.
Again, the Knicks' inability to rebound, you've been talking about all day. You allow penetration. The big guys have to rotate. No guards coming in to get in front of Alonzo Mourning. He's just going to gobble that up all series long.
New York by 1.
When Ewing gets here, he wants to come across the middle. He wants to go one-on-one, and he's not going to give it up.
Poked away by Mashburn.
Give it up to the other team.
Marley gives it back to Mashburn.
Nice pass back.
Mashburn misses the three, but Marley with an offensive rebound on the long carry.
The intangibles of Dan Marley. Every aspect of the game.
Let's remember that the three-point shot always produces a long rebound, and all the Knicks are sucked back in. You can't get all over them every time.
Van Gundy cannot believe it.
Mashburn went back to that spot, and this time he hit, and Miami is in front.
All the loose balls going Miami's way. Keeping the crowd out of the game, sitting down, no flag waving today.
Sprewell with a beautiful baseline drive. Latrell has 14 points. Timeout, Miami. 1:44 left till halftime. And New York holding a 1-point edge. The NBA on NBC.
Hi, everybody. Hannah Storm in New York. Coming up on Net Zero at the half, we'll hear from Utah's Karl Malone. We found the mailman in a reflective mood as his illustrious career enters into its final stages.
I never forget it. It's just like, I think about it so many times. What if I would have went to another team and all of that?
Imagine this. If supposing Malone and Stockton had played for New York or had played for Los Angeles or Chicago, you know, we'd probably be erecting statues. And they'd probably be saying, who coached those guys? Where is he? Huh? What's his name? It was Layden. Yes. All right.
Former Jazz coach Frank Layden and Malone remember how it all began for the player that many consider to be the best power forward in NBA history. That's coming up at the half. Let's return to the Garden and rejoin Tom, Bill, Snapper, and Jim.
Okay, Hannah, thank you very much. And Karl facing what could be his final game of this season. And let's get an answer. If we look at his numbers, is he the greatest power forward of all time?
No question. In my mind, there's no other power forward that has done what he's done. And it's going to be a long time before another guy comes down the road that passes him.
How can you say he's the best? Just to be considered among the best is all you can say. No one can ever say who is absolutely the greatest. He didn't play against Pettit. He didn't play against Luke Jackson, Maurice Lucas, Kevin McHale.
Meanwhile, Miami trailing by 1. The shot clock at 6 as the ball is knocked out of bounds. Back to Miami with 5 to shoot.
You know, you talked, Bill, about the points that were scored in the first quarter was 26-21. Look at the scoreboard. And it tells you just how hard it is for a team to pull away and how difficult it is for teams to score points. 22nd timeout, Miami.
Miami takes a 20. We'll be back to the Garden in just a moment. 39-38, while courtside, the debate still rages over whether Karl Malone is the greatest power forward of all time.
But there's, excuse me, Tom. There's no debate over the rebound numbers here, which Miami has doubled up the rebounds here, 25-12. Total rebounds, doubled up 8-3 on offensive rebounds. So obviously the pleading, the begging of Van Gundy has not been noticed.
Quick shot by Hardaway, and despite inside position, Houston is able to knock it away from Mashburn. Mashburn had inside. Then Childs loses it.
Where they weren't making mistakes in the first quarter, they're now making them in the second. Hardaway.
From Marley. Marley spotting the trailer. Hardaway for the layup. And Miami seesaws back on top by 1.
Tim Hardaway with back-to-back terrific plays. One on defense to anticipate Childs' crossover back to his right. And then the give and go. Spectacular.
Now, the last time Sprewell went to the baseline, got all the way to the rim. This time he doesn't even attempt to get there.
Hardaway whips it inside to Mourning. He hit the underside of the basket. That's his 6th turnover in this first half. And a 3 is good by Childs.
Well, as the backboard has come more and more into play, we have learned that all sides of the backboard, including the top and bottom, are still in play.
Brown short, but back tapped by Mourning.
The problem is a lot of P.J. Brown's shots, which are short and hitting on the limb, are coming back on the line drive. Rebounders aren't prepared for those, and then the long, deep shot is coming back to the Miami Heat.
Knocked out of bounds by Sprewell. Miami gets it back. 7.8 seconds left in the half.
Mashburn looks a little gassed.
Charlie Ward
is playing every position every possession. Uh-oh, Chris Giles limping off. Just go straight to the locker room.
Mashburn comes off a screen, guarded by Sprewell. 5 seconds. 2 seconds, knocked away from Mashburn. And Mashburn knocked to the court as the horn sounds to end the first half. 8 players have scored for Miami, but none have crashed double digits as of yet. The leader, Jamal Mashburn, with 9. As Riley leads his troops into the locker room at halftime, let's check in with Jim Gray.
All right, thank you very much, Tom. Latrell Sprewell with 14 points. Seems like you guys got on track with your offense, and then it went out of sync. What happened in the second quarter?
Well, they're playing good defense. You know, we don't expect anything easy with this team. So they're making it tough on us.
You're being out-rebounded 25-12, and Jeff Van Gundy before the game emphasized the rebounding. Why can't you guys get after it?
Well, that's the one thing that's killing us. You know, we're a small team, and myself and Allen especially, we have to get in there and get some boards for us.
Got any ideas on how you can change that in the second half?
Well, we just got to be physical, face guard, block out on our guys, and, you know, just get the job done somehow.
Latrell, thank you for your time. Good luck in the second half. All right, Tom, back over to you.
All right, Jim. Latrell, the game's leading scorer in that first half, pitching in 14 points. In fact, he's the only player in the game in double figures. At the end of the first half at Madison Square Garden, New York leads Miami 42-40. Now stay tuned for Net Zero at the half coming up after these messages. The NBA on NBC.
Net Zero. At the half, Net Zero, defenders of the free world. Free internet access and free email forever. www.netzero.net.
Halftime at Madison Square Garden, and, well, typically another tight ball game. The Knicks lead the Heat, but just 42-40. Hi, everybody. Hannah Storm back with Isaiah Thomas, Eddie Johnson, and Rick Pitino. And we were saying that the Knicks needed to come out and make this more of an up-tempo game, and they obliged.
Hannah, the Knicks showing that aggressive style they displayed during their finals run last year, trying to figure out a way to beat this Miami Heat stifling defense. The easy way is to try to create turnovers and then push the ball and take advantage on the other end.
They're doing it off turnovers, and obviously that was great rotation, as you just witnessed. But then they go inside to Alonzo Mourning, and the whole philosophy now is to double team him, but now they don't rotate, and P.J. Brown gets the easy layup. There's the difference in the two plays.
Rick, I think when you look at the Miami Heat right now, with Tim Hardaway not being at 100%, the Knicks have to worry about Anthony Carter right now, because Anthony Carter is getting into the lane, he's penetrating, he's creating the three-point shots for others, and he's also making those nice, easy layups.
Okay, but Isaiah, correct me if I'm wrong. Isn't the idea to take advantage of the fact that Tim Hardaway's not playing?
You are absolutely right, Coach.
Well, how do you do that?
When you look at it, I mean, if you're the New York Knicks, you got to go to the big backcourt with Sprewell and Houston. You got to injure Tim Hardaway out there. You got to force Hardaway to guard Sprewell or Houston.
That big backcourt. We've heard a lot about it. All right, following the Heat and the Knicks, we'll have Game 4 of the Portland-Utah series. The Blazers looking for a sweep. It's been a frustrating series for Utah's Karl Malone, finishing his 15th season in the league. As Malone enters the twilight of a brilliant career, he reflects on what he's accomplished with the help of his first NBA coach, Frank Layden.
The Utah Jazz select Karl Malone of Louisiana Tech.
So many people doubted me. When I didn't want to get serious about my schoolwork and I couldn't play at Louisiana Tech the first year, people wanted to say, oh, we told you so.
So many players would like to be in my position, but I would say, you know, with the help of my mom and everybody, you know, I just want to say, you know, thanks.
You draft a player, you never know what kind of heart they're going to have. You never know what kind of courage or what pain threshold they're going to have. This guy was indestructible. You know, he played hurt. He practiced hurt. I mean, he doesn't take a day off in practice. You know, he'd come and you'd say, hey, Carl, maybe you want to rest today. I'm playing today.
When I first came out, my dream was to get a nice little signing bonus, buy me an 18-wheeler, play 1 year, and be back in Louisiana, being a state trooper, and drive my 18-wheeler part-time. That's what I wanted to do.
He had size, he had quickness, and a great passion for what he was doing. He loved basketball. But he was stepping back from Adrian. Adrian was the superstar, the former Olympian, the high scorer of the league. And so his potential would not be met unless he was challenged and Adrian was moved on.
Get down tough, come on!
Coach Layton called me in his office. He said, okay. He looked at me, he said, how good do you want to be and how serious are you about being good?
His response was, bring it on. You know, he likes the challenge. And I think he liked the idea that I was making a commitment to him.
Being a young guy, I said, oh God, yeah, I want the challenge, you know, I want this to be my team and all that. He said, good. And then I looked at him, I said, why you say that? He said, well, we're about to trade Adrian Dantley this summer.
We gambled on 2 young players. We had the young point guard in Stockton, and now we were going to go with Malone.
It was a challenge for me, but it was a challenge that I would have never turned down because I was just dumb and naive enough at age 21 or 22 that I could do it. And 15 years later, here I am.
Congratulations for 2 gold medals. Congratulations for enormous achievement. But congratulations, Karl Malone, NBA Most Valuable Player.
What I need to do is improve every year. You know, I want every year I come back, I want people to say, God, he improved a little bit more, or God, he did that, you know, and that's been like what's been motivating me all the time. But it started with my training. In college, high school, college, the coaches was that old myth, don't lift weights because they throw your shots off and all of that. And I didn't believe it.
Karl Malone becomes only the 3rd player in NBA history to score over 30,000 points. Congratulations, Karl Malone.
You don't have to remind me how old I am. I realize every birthday I have every year. And I know I'll get older. I'm gonna be 37 here coming up, July. You can't stop Father Time, and the way I'm aging, I love it, but you can slow it down. I think what I'm doing now, because I realize my career is coming to an end, is I'm making myself, I guess, savor the moment a little bit more now.
While Karl Malone is trying to savor these precious playoff moments, he's well aware that his season could end today. Meanwhile, his longtime teammate Jeff Hornacek may be playing in the final game of his NBA career. The Jazz are looking to extend that career and to send the series back to Portland with a victory today. Up next, some news on the free agent front. Peter Vesey with some information on the Pistons' Grant Hill, and we'll update you on the fallout from yesterday's altercation in Philly between the Pacers and the Sixers. Quick update on the Indy-Philly situation. Earlier today, the NBA ruled on the incident that took place in yesterday's Game 4 between the Pacers' Reggie Miller and the Sixers' Matt Geiger. Following a second flagrant foul by Geiger, Miller went after him. A brief scuffle ensued. The NBA has suspended Reggie Miller for 1 game and levied a $5,000 fine. Geiger receives a 2-game suspension and a $20,000 fine, and the 76ers organization has been fined $50,000 and will continue to get reaction for you as the day goes on. Now let's switch gears and head back to Madison Square Garden and rejoin Peter Vesey. And Peter, a story you've been following all year, the potential free agency of Grant Hill of the Detroit Pistons. What's the latest?
Well, initially, Hannah, I didn't think that Grant Hill would want to end his career as a Piston on the injured. You know, he broke his ankle. He was not able to play in the last game. But sources tell me that he's been calling around the league, calling not teams, but calling players on championship contenders and talking to them about coming to play for them. The teams that I've heard he's talked to already are the Pacers and the 76ers. And that's the only 2 teams that I've talked to. So he must be talking to a lot of teams like the Spurs. We talked about him possibly going and playing with Tim Duncan. Now the key is, Hannah, he says money is not the issue. He just wants to play for a championship. That's what he's telling the players. He would come and play for $2 million for that exception.
All right, thanks, Peter. And I think that Isaiah Thomas can back that point up. And you're close with Grant Hill. You know where his mindset is about next year.
Well, Grant Hill wants to win championships. It's not about money for him in this league, as Peter pointed out. What he wants to do is leave a legacy. He wants to leave a legacy of winning. He's looking at a situation in Detroit. He's looking at other situations. But the most important thing to him, I know it's hard for people to believe, it's not about the money. It's only about winning.
I mean, you're talking about a guy maybe playing for the league exception here, Eddie, a guy who has a serious injury. I mean, most people look for the security of a long-term deal, you would think.
Well, as Isaiah says, Grant Hill is an exception, but most players definitely are not going to roll the dice here. They're going to take that opportunity to sign that long-term contract. But Grant Hill is different. He's making a lot of money off the floor, and he can make those type of decisions. For the majority of the players in this league, I guarantee they're going to try to go for the money first.
How do you see this from an organizational standpoint?
Well, right now, 28 coaches are making reservations to go to Detroit July 1. Matter of fact, on the break, I'm calling Mike Krzyzewski for some help, if that is true, so to speak. We won't go into any more detail.
Isaiah, any indication as to what he would be looking at? I mean, is any team available at this point?
Well, I think when you're Grant Hill and you're looking at this situation, every team is available. You just want to see where you can fit in as a champion.
They're all available. How attractive are they? I guess that's what we should say. All right. Meanwhile, the Knicks lead the Heat by 2. We'll send you back to the Garden for the second half after these messages from your local station.
This has been Net Zero at the half. Net Zero, defenders of the free world. Free internet access and free email forever. Call 1-800-DEFENDER. The NBA on NBC is brought to you by Saturday Night Live's 25th anniversary special. Tonight at 8, 7 Central on NBC.
Halftime at Madison Square Garden, where the New York Knicks have a 2-point edge on the Miami Heat. New York surviving a disastrous second quarter where they shot only 27% and were out-rebounded 15-4, and yet New York clinging to that lead, helped in part by a 10-for-10 free throw performance in that first half.
Tom, it's such a simple game. If you can make your baskets, and when you do miss them, you go get the rebounds. But the Knicks are just getting killed. They're shooting under 40%, which has been the norm for them this series, and they're getting worse than doubled up on the backboard. So I don't know what they do right now. Jeff Van Gundy just has to be in an irascible mood right now.
I don't know what that is, but all they have to do is score one more point than the other guy, and that's all they want to do. And that's the way this series turns out. It's
winning.
A team that, they're ahead. That's all they want to do. Van Gundy can be upset about all of the rebounds and everything else, but as long as they stay ahead and win the game, he'll be happy.
All right, we go to the third quarter with the Knicks leading the Heat 42-40. (42-40) as we start the third quarter in Game 4 from Madison Square Garden. The New York Knicks needing a win to even the series at 2.
Desperately needing a win.
Ray Johnson to Ewing. Ball fake, draws the foul. Alonzo Mourning.
That's a kind of play that will help them win the game, particularly if they can get Mourning, who had 4 in Game 3, in foul trouble. Good exchange inside Ewing to the free throw line.
It was that third quarter that was the death knell for Alonzo Mourning as he picked up 3 fouls in virtually 1 minute of action.
That was his second. He scored 8, as you see. And Ewing, second free throw.
The kind of ball movement that you can get when you have 3 people involved, as opposed to just giving it to one guy, having the other 4 go to the weak side, stand there, watch one guy back him in.
P.J. Brown lost it to Mourning, who misses the layup. All he had to do was slam it down. He tried to softly put it through, and it came back out. Ward missing a 3. Mourning fumbles away the rebound.
A very slow start for Alonzo Mourning.
A foul, a missed layup, and a fumbled rebound.
Besides
that, everything's going
side, but this was perfect. You don't get any better than leading the big guy to the rim like that. And normally he would throw that down with some thunder. He tried to lay it in. He's hoping he gets another one of those.
Sprewell got a screen from Ewing. Now on the low post, Patrick against Alonzo. Double team from Mashburn.
great closeout by Mashburn.
You got to go. 2 to shoot, and Ewing can't hit it. Marley the rebound.
Ewing got hit on the way up, but he didn't get the call, which really would have saved Alonzo Mourning because he really whacked him good.
Nice pass.
Mashburn off the glass. Nice drive by Jamal Mashburn after he faked that shot from the corner. He's the first Heat player in double figures with 11.
Both of these teams are so predictable. The team that can come up with some sort of deceptive attack will have a much better chance of winning not only this game, but this series.
Sprewell threading his way through traffic. He comes to Houston, missing an open three, but Ewing put back is blocked by Mourning. Mashburn. Mourning from outside. Rebounded by Ward. Imagine that the Knicks bench was happy to see Alonzo shooting 18-footers. Ewing, though, can't save it, and New York turns it over. Their 5th turnover of the game.
Well, that's buddy basketball at its best, except your buddy doesn't help you out. Ward and Ewing are very tight. They run a great pick and roll, but Ewing muffs the handle right there because they had a good play going and a chance to score inside.
What's happened to these centers' hands during intermission?
I think it was the allowing them to dunk in college.
I knew something off the wall was coming. I set myself up for it. Mourning now moved in 5 feet closer. Alonzo nails it, and he has 10.
But look how it affected Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, the greatest scorer in the history of the NBA. A guy who couldn't dunk in college and learned how to shoot, learned how to score. It wasn't just power game for him.
Mourning, a bad-looking shot, bounces off Alonzo Mourning to Ewing, and he hits.
Pat Riley on the sideline, putting his hands in the air, saying, somebody just grab a rebound. Stick a fork in it.
Ewing has 11 points and 7 rebounds. Mourning misses, but P.J. Brown and 1. Working the offensive board, P.J. Brown.
Overpowering Larry Johnson, just pushing him right in. Alonzo Mourning from straight away gets that jumper to fall. Then Ewing comes right back with a little jump hook of his own. Nice footwork to double team a little bit late.
And P.J. Brown completes the 3-point play. He has 7 in the game, and Miami leads by 1.
Now, P.J.'s normally more reliable with that jump shot. They've been giving it to him. He hasn't been able to score. A big effort there, and the timeout
taken by New York. Hey. Tom Hammond, Bill Walton, Steve Snapper Jones, Jim Gray, Madison Square Garden in New York. Game 4 of the Eastern Conference semifinal series. The Knicks and the Heat. Miami leading 2 games to 1 and leading here by a point at 47-46 with 8:52 to go in the 3rd quarter.
How are the Knicks going to get into their offensive rhythms? Sprewell and Houston need the touches. They need the opportunities.
Larry Johnson was really agitated during that timeout. He finally got the ball. He's been asking for it and held it. Whenever you see him hold it, he's trying to score it. Got it blocked. P.J. Brown.
Hardaway misses a 3. Ewing collects the rebound. He has 8. Ward's in a hurry. Got it.
Charlie Ward, who's been insistent. Oh, nice transition opportunity. Foul Ewing. Good push of the ball by Miami that time. Quickly out of the net. With Charlie Ward taking advantage of the immobility of Tim Hardaway. Something he's tried to do throughout. That was virtually the only time he's been productive today.
Second foul on Ewing as his friend and fellow Georgetown grad puts in the first free throw.
That fast break by Charlie Ward, that extended the fast break point dominance of the Knicks this afternoon to a 14-2 spread.
Mourning's second free throw could recapture the lead for the Heat. Front rim and through. 49-48 Miami.
You ever get the feeling that this game is going to go down to the wire?
Why would it be different from any of the others?
Nice drive.
Johnson for three.
Penetration and dish, championship-style basketball. The finisher, Larry Johnson, unless Tim Hardaway can keep Charlie Ward under control, the Heat are going to be in a lot of trouble. You may see Anthony Carter very soon.
Ward with that penetration and spotting LJ for the three. Mashburn cross court. Marley for three. Tapped up. Marley got it back. Hardaway to Mashburn.
Yeah, they're going to get a trip on Charlie Ward.
Ward fell down and
trying to slide in.
All caused by the fact that they're having to come and double team Jamal Mashburn. Maybe too far out to double team him. The leg tackle by Charlie Ward.
He's gotten some football moves in this series, hasn't he?
Done a very good job of it.
The former Heisman winner.
Morning.
This has not been pretty for Alonzo Mourning.
Rough third quarter for Zoe, who picks up his third foul of the game.
Well, you know, Mourning's always a guy that's been willing to tap anybody that's in the opposing uniform going by. And on that cut, he just nicked Charlie Ward, but got caught. Was right in front of the officials trying to go to Allen Houston.
They do go to Houston, and he responds with his first bucket of the second half, his 8th point of the game.
Marley is playing as good a defense as you could possibly play. That's how skilled Allen Houston is. Marley telling us that Allen Houston is the toughest guy that he has to guard.
Mismatch and see if they take advantage of it. Tough shot for P.J. Brown.
Fall away after the behind-the-back pass from Mashburn.
The one game that Miami's lost in this series was the lost game for P.J. Brown, who did nothing.
Houston using a screen to great advantage. The pass came at just the precise time, and he knocks down the three-pointer. He has 11.
Everybody in Miami was looking at Pat Riley, and Charlie Ward spotted that and quickly just popped the ball to Houston for the score.
Hardaway for three. Offensive rebound, Alonzo Mourning. That's blocked by Ewing.
Riley cannot believe that nonsense.
Stilwell misses, and Marley takes it the other way. Charlie Ward hounding him. Marley holds up.
That's what you would call a home court advantage.
Yeah, that looked like a goaltend all the way on Ewing, and no whistle.
Steal Charlie Ward.
And off ground to New York.
Inspirational contributions from Charlie Ward.
6:03 left in the third. Knicks lead it by 5.
The NBA on NBC is brought to you by Sprite. Image is nothing. Thirst is everything. Obey your thirst. Sprite. By Ford F-Series. The best-selling trucks are built Ford Dove. By the irresistible taste that makes you say, did somebody say McDonald's? And by Hewlett-Packard. Inventing new ways to live and work.
Back in New York, Jim Gray at the Garden. The Knicks lead by 5 in the third quarter. Well, there was an incident involving Jamal Mashburn at the end of the first half. He thought that he was fouled by Latrell Sprewell as the clock wound down. There he thought he was fouled, and then right there, he thinks he's fouled. Goes down to the ground. No foul is called. Teammates try and help him up. Then they restrain him a bit, and then he kicks the table right there. On the other end of the table is Celine Roberts of the New York Times. During halftime, she was attended to after that accidental kick by Dr. Norman Scott back in the locker room of the Knicks. Her shoulder popped out. He examined her. Her condition right now is fine. However, her writing arm, or typing arm, is day-to-day, Tom.
Selena Roberts, one of the brilliant journalists that covered this Knicks team for the New York Times, does a terrific job. Every player has a flat-out responsibility to maintain their poise throughout the time they're out there on that court. Inexcusable by Jamal Mashburn.
Illegal defense call against Miami.
You're sounding like he intended to kick her.
I didn't say that at all.
That was the first illegal defense against Miami, so New York puts it in play. Houston quickly double teamed, got rid of it. 4 to shoot. Ewing, high arching shot.
Very difficult shot attempt. The buzzer went off and everybody just kept playing.
And Miami has it, down 5.
Well, this is a big stop for the New York Knicks in terms of keeping them from doing that, penetrating, and Alonzo Mourning just blew by Patrick Ewing.
Mourning, a much more effective player when he takes the ball to the rim instead of settling for the jump shot.
And that's the first time he's done that this afternoon. Granted, the Knicks have done a good job of double teaming Alonzo early, but still, nice give and go.
Charlie Ward over Mourning's attempted block. The NBA's top shot blocker couldn't keep Ward from putting through his 8th point.
When you have Latrell Sprewell making beautiful passes there, spinning.
Ward with a steal and a lob. Sprewell missed it. Johnson kept it alive.
Tim Hardaway just cannot move out there.
And a foul.
Sprewell's just so upset.
So what about the contributions of Charlie Ward, unsung hero?
Well, Ward is moving well without the ball, and he is not passing up his scoring chances, keeping the pressure on the Miami Heat interior. And, you know, he's got very quick hands, and he's seen it a couple times, made that poke away, and they gave the Knicks his chance to get to the free throw line.
Tonight, it's the Saturday Night Live 25th anniversary special. Funniest comedy, the hottest music, plus the cast and hosts from 25 years together on one stage. Saturday Night Live's 25th anniversary special in prime time tonight, 8, 7 Central, here on NBC. Talking about the contributions of Charlie Ward, 8 points, 3 rebounds, 4 assists for Charlie this afternoon, and 0 turnovers.
And the way he is attacked so aggressively from the opening tip when he was shooting threes and trying to drive and create. Mourning with the turnaround air.
Again, settling for the jump shot instead of taking it to the rim as he had the possession before.
Why does he keep his back to Ewing? If he's turning face, you got every option you want.
Ward misses a 3. Bodies everywhere. Ewing on the floor, and I think P.J. Brown will be assessed the foul.
Pat Riley is getting dangerously close to a technical foul.
They lock up Ewing. Mourning on one side, P.J. Brown on the other, as his ball comes in the air.
Ewing's got great position. He anticipated there. He was sliding in while everybody else was still watching what was going on the strong side. Cardinal rules of rebounding. Anticipate every shot will be missed. Get your arms up above your shoulders and go get that ball. P.J. Brown having to throw Patrick Ewing out of the way to keep Ewing from getting a stick-back dunk.
Marley anticipating with the steal and jams it home.
Thunder still lives, you know, knowing that Allen Houston was chasing them hard, but that was a huge steal for them because they've been struggling. Nice play, Dan Marley.
8 points and 8 rebounds for Thunder Dan.
Inbound passes thrown to guys running away from the ball. That's a tough completion.
Nearly had another. Just a step slower. Houston misses badly, and Mourning hands off to Hardaway. 9 boards for Alonzo.
The role players today, Charlie Ward for New York and Dan Marley for Miami.
Mashburn facing Sprewell. Ewing to help, and before the shot, a whistle on Sprewell.
With Marley anticipating this inbound pass, that cross-court inbound pass, and then I didn't really think he could still dunk. All those back surgeries, the stress fracture in his knee, how can that be?
We've got a timeout, the NBA playoffs on NBC. Back at the Garden, where third watch stars Anthony Rui Vivar and Bobby Cannavale with his son Jake are watching the action. Third watch filmed here in New York City. Both these gentlemen will be in an all-new episode tomorrow night here on NBC. I read in the newspaper today where Allen Houston says Third Watch is his favorite show. 60-55. Miami with the ball down by 5. Mashburn's 3 is short. And Charlie Ward for the Knicks.
Camby's in the ball game, and he's the guy that is intended to give him some energy, some shot blocking, and some rebounding. Let's see if he can do it.
But with Houston now, they're going to have to find some sort of offense from this man, Larry Johnson.
Shoots over Mourning, no good, and Brown rebounds for Miami. 3 of 4 in the first 4 minutes, and shooting blank since then, Miami.
Hardaway limps the ball up the court. No sign yet of Anthony Carter, though.
Ball away, Mashburn. And Patrick Ewing wades in to haul it down. Big Patrick now has 10 points or 10 rebounds.
One of the problems for the Knicks trying to fast break a lot is that Ewing and Larry Johnson are not great at getting up and down the court anymore. All the hard miles on those bodies. Blocked by Marley.
Ewing. And Marley the rebound.
Shot selection is everything, and Jeff Van Gundy closed his eyes and said, Patrick, what are you doing? You're about 2 weeks out of your range. Missed that one badly, and that's going to give the Heat a chance to stay in this one.
Oh, nice split, but couldn't hold on to it, Tim Hardaway.
And then he manages to get to the floor and cause the jump ball with Larry Johnson.
The double team comes out, and New York loves to trap that pick and roll.
Charlie Ward got a hand on that ball to knock it loose. It wasn't just a fumble by Hardaway. Ward continues to, as you say, play a big role as a role player in the New York game, and Dan Marley sits as Thorpe comes in for Miami. Marley's done the same for Miami today.
You've got a big, powerful team now for Miami with Thorpe, P.J. Brown, and Mourning.
Johnson controls the tap. New York with the ball. Under 2 minutes to play in the third quarter. The Knicks up by 5.
The history of these games have been that the scoring has gone down quarter by quarter. So the Knicks have just about tapped out as Larry Johnson holds the ball. They've got 18 points here in the quarter.
Ward for 3.
Timeout, Miami.
Charlie Ward is the hero again, just as he was in the Knicks' Game 2 win. Timeout, Miami. 1:32 left, third quarter, 63-55. New York with the lead over the Heat, thanks to Charlie Ward.
Ward wide open because the discipline, the patience of the Knicks offense. Miami has chosen today not to double team Larry Johnson. This time, though, he comes into the paint, and P.J. Brown comes down. That forces everybody into a scramble situation. Otis Thorpe and P.J. Brown, they can stand up over the top of Larry Johnson when he's trying to post up. No need to come with the double team. That just gives Charlie Ward wide open shots.
Great balance by the Knicks today with 5 players in double figures, even though Sprewell hasn't scored in the third quarter. Anthony Carter back in for Miami.
And Charlie Ward has been the hero of the third at the offensive end. 5 on the clock.
Nice pass.
Carter to Mourning, who lays it in. So Carter immediately comes off the bench and has an assist. A minute left in the third.
Knicks have their biggest lead of 8, trying to get back to it.
Backside help forces Johnson to give it up. Ward right back to LJ. 3 to shoot. Ewing got it away and was fouled by Mourning. Whoa. Alonzo bailed him out with that foul. Ewing shooting a 17-foot jump shot with the shot clock winding down, and Mourning bails him out.
Never foul a jump shooter, particularly your own man. You're not going to block this shot. Right on the wrist. Keeps Patrick Ewing from getting the follow through. They can allow him to make that shot. The first free throw goes down, but Larry Johnson's passing has been terrific here in the last couple of minutes. Oh, right on the elbow.
And Mourning has a nightmare third quarter, and that's his 4th foul of the game.
16 points and 4 personal fouls. He put himself in the same position that he did in game 3 where he had to sit.
But that's when Van Gundy said that Knicks didn't take advantage, didn't capitalize when he was out for that long stretch.
There's the first missed free throw of the game by the Knicks. They had hit their first 15 before that Ewing miss. Otis Thorpe posting Ewing.
Oh, nice bump by Thorpe to establish his move.
Missed the jump hook. P.J. Brown surrounded by Knicks, and Ward comes away with it. They'll hold for the final shot of the third quarter.
When we first saw Charlie Ward burst on him, it's a nice over-the-top pass at Florida State. His intangibles so present even then.
LJ. And that's the end of the third quarter as New York takes command in the third with an 18-8 run to end the quarter, led by the contributions of Charlie Ward on both the ends of the court. The Knicks have tied their biggest lead. It's 66-57 at the end of 3. We'll return to New York right after these messages and a word from your local station. You're watching the NBA on NBC.
This copyrighted telecast of the National Basketball Association is intended solely for the entertainment of our audience. And any retransmission, reproduction, rebroadcast, or other dissemination or use of this telecast, or of the pictures, descriptions, or accounts of this game without the express written consent of the National Basketball Association is prohibited.
The Charlie Ward Show here in Madison Square Garden, flicking the ball away on defense, moving without the ball and finishing majestically at the hoop. In transition, everything happening for New York today, nothing for the Miami Heat. The ball movement resulting in great three-point shooting. Charlie Ward, indispensable to the Knicks' success.
And Charlie, well, you've done a real turnaround, Charlie. Anyway.
Wait a second. How can you say that?
Well, here's the best thing for Charlie Ward, in that he has gotten free reign. Remember, we saw Chris Childs limp off, and he may not be available, and Charlie Ward is playing with an attitude and aggressiveness that forces Jeff Van Gundy to leave him out on the floor.
Start the fourth quarter with Otis Thorpe called for the offensive foul as Patrick Ewing takes the charge.
Ewing moving so perfectly, in sync with his entire defense. Well, double team outside and steps over there and draws the offensive foul with the great flop.
Well, Pat Riley wanted to know, was he out in front of that line?
And was he still moving? Both with the pertinent questions. Start the fourth quarter with Larry Johnson, Patrick Ewing, Marcus Camby, Latrell Sprewell, and Charlie Ward for New York. Johnson for three as the shot clock was winding down. Here's Carter leading the Miami break. Marley right back to Carter.
Well, they need offense out of Mashburn. Mourning didn't do anything there in the third. He's played with 4 fouls right now.
Carter whips it out to Marley for three. Anthony Carter with the penetration, the baseline drive made it happen, and Marley has 11. 3 of his three-pointers have gone down for Dan Marley.
Nice hands, Anthony Carter.
He and Ward go to the court, and a foul will be called. Looks like a block on Carter.
With the penetration there, Latrell Sprewell on a switch cannot keep Anthony Carter in front of him. That frees up. A great spot-up shooting by Dan Marley, who has that presence of mind to always keep moving when the guards are slashing in there.
Was there any flashback on that play? Anthony Carter was underneath the basket that time. Why didn't they see if he could make that shot again?
Ewing.
It's too early in the game, Steve.
Dan Marley rebound, and here's Thorpe running the court, and Carter spots him for the layup. Suddenly, it's a 4-point game. And who should be surprised by that?
Oh, you mean that lead wasn't insurmountable?
Houston for three.
More and more we're seeing these two teams, which normally disdain the double team defense. They're coming virtually every time to whoever has the ball in the post, and that's freeing up three-point shooters.
Well, they'll take their chances on that shot. They are packing the middle on almost every drive, any kind of penetration. Carter hits the foul.
And Charlie Ward goes down, grabbing that ankle, grabbing that right ankle.
Allen Houston, one of the league's best shooters, knocks down a three. It's 69-62.
The NBA on NBC is brought to you by cold refreshing Zima. Zima, a few degrees colder. By Honda, a winning lineup of cars, sport utility vehicles, and minivans. By Sony PlayStation, live in your world, play in ours. And by Nike.
If you saw the halftime feature, you understand the mindset of Dan Marley. It's all about winning a championship and doing whatever you can to help your team do it. Once a really dangerous perimeter player, now focusing more on defense, Dan Marley can still defend, come up with some big plays, and make big shots. And that's what he's trying to do this afternoon to give the Heat a chance to win and go 3-1.
Riley said he'll go to his grave with Marley. Pat talking Dan at one point out of retiring, and made a suggestion before this season that he lose some weight. Dan weighed about 240, and he was thick and strong, all muscle. He only had 7% body fat, and Dan sort of said, now, how am I going to lose weight? Pat suggested he come in at about 220. But sure enough, when training camp rolled around, Marley reported in at 220, and he says he feels better than he ever has, and taking some of the strain off that back, which has been such a problem for him.
But generally, you lose weight by eating less, and Dan Marley is realizing that it's all about running.
His wife was a vegetarian, was Dan's wife, which helped in the weight loss department.
It's amazing how long Dan Marley's been playing. I mean, he was on the '88 Olympic team that lost in Seoul. He was a guy who come really out of nowhere. Small college in Michigan.
Central Michigan is not that small, but not a basketball power. Canby hits the first shot. This is the 117th playoff game for Dan Marley in this 12th season.
Time to remember, almost every school is small compared to UCLA.
In more ways than one, Steve.
Canby puts in both free throws. He has 4 points, but does not have a rebound in 17 minutes of play. Chris Childs with a bruised bone in his ankle is still out there for New York, coming back in at that last dead ball commercial. Thorpe rejected by Canby.
Great closeout defense by Anthony Carter. Sprewell can't get anything going, but he does pick up a foul.
Anthony Carter's trying to play him glove tight and won't let him go. Now, you tell me, as a shot blocker, is it a shot
block?
Or is it another home court advantage?
That's what you live for. That's perfect. That just puts you're just setting up as a volleyball spike off the board.
Sprewell drives baseline, misses the shot. Carter stepped in to intercept the pass. Leaves it for Thorpe, and he is fouled by Ward, or by Childs. Childs preventing the transition basket. And will put the Heat on the free throw line.
Well, you can see the one thing that Anthony Carter gives the Miami Heat is the ability to cover ground and very quickly gets back in the passing lane, pushes the ball up the floor, and Thorpe pulled off the shot.
But this is a team, Miami, that doesn't run a lot. They don't have guys that push it up and down the court and have that mindset of we're gonna beat our opponents individually. Anthony Carter, because he is so young, just getting started in his career, he's still thinking this is about sprinting up and down. This is about using my speed, my youth, my exuberance.
He was real exuberant the other night.
That's not the kind of game you come down easy from. Big carryover. And even though Carter's numbers haven't been as spectacular as they were with the near triple-double in Game 3, played very well today.
Well, one thing they've got to do is get Childs to be as aggressive as Charlie Ward was. Kirk Thomas inside.
That was too easy. Thomas just went right around Otis Thorpe and reversed it through.
But Childs plays a very controlled, team-oriented game. Not going to try to force anything with the Knicks comfortably in control now.
There's no comfort zone until the game is over.
Mashburn. Jamal Mashburn has 13 points.
You know, the Knicks were up by 4 in that overtime, and they thought they had a comfortable lead, and they ended up losing. And so there's 8 minutes of time left in this game. They know they need more than this, Houston.
This is the runner, but Thomas an offensive rebound. Houston calling for it. There's the skip pass to him. Three-pointer good.
Pat Riley says enough. We can't control our own boards. Kurt Thomas, an immediate contribution off the bench for Jeff Van Gundy.
Houston was calling for it, and with a pass game, he put in another three. He's hit 3 of 4 from three-point range. NBA Playoffs 2000, Game 4, the Eastern Conference Semifinal Series between the Miami Heat and the New York Knicks. And in this Game 4, 8:01 left in the fourth quarter, and New York leading 76-68. There are the numbers on Allen Houston. After the slow start, he's been lighting it up.
He's getting great looks. The three-point shot is there for Allen Houston. He's getting his legs underneath him. The ball movement for New York, as they have just been sharper virtually throughout.
Pat Riley makes a nice play out of the timeout. What he wants to do is get a couple of more minutes for Alonzo Mourning on the bench before he brings him in to try to finish the game off.
And if the Knicks don't keep this lead and Alonzo Mourning on the bench for what seems like an eternity, Jeff Van Gundy's going to tear his hair out.
Wouldn't take much. Sorry, Jeff.
Mourning in the ball game as Dan Marley picks up the foul.
And Riley was so happy with his team that they limited the Knicks to 64 shots in the Game 3 win. They've already exceeded that today with 66 as Houston misses. Put up and in by Marcus Camby.
Kurt Thomas is doing a phenomenal job on the offensive glass. Going to get no credit. He's going to get slammed by Steve Jones, but this guy is really playing for the Knicks, Kurt Thomas.
Did a nice job of pushing so Camby could get that rebound.
Pushing, he was in perfect position. Anticipated, he jumped out of his shoe. That's how well he's playing. Kurt able to, he just said, forget the shoe. I don't need that.
Now he's out of the ball game because he does, and they give him enough time to put it back on Larry Johnson in the game.
Mashburn off the screen. Sprewell trailing him, but caught up. Mourning. Well, Alonzo comes off the bench with fresh legs and hits his 18th point of the game.
The two good friends, Alonzo Mourning and Larry Johnson, going at it in the low post. Johnson unable to match the size and strength, and an offensive foul here away from the ball on Chris Childs.
Well, this is a tough call against Chris Childs because he is trying to avoid Carter all the way. He's got his hands up in the air, and you can see, you go up top and watch, he's trying to get away, and he's getting popped.
Fourth foul. It's the fourth foul on Chris Childs.
Just like in Game 3 Friday night, Pat Riley coming with Anthony Carter for most of the second half. The lead is only 6 for New York.
Mourning calling for it. Thomas trying to front him. Shot clock at 5. Mashburn to Marley for 3. Tapped a couple of times, and Mourning hauls it down.
That's the rebound. They had to have two Knicks come together, and Mourning ends up getting the ball away from him. Mismatch Mourning.
Mourning's got Chris Childs on, but they can't get him the ball.
Mashburn fakes the 3, steps up, can't deliver.
Oh, did they dodge a bullet that time? Because there's no way you shouldn't have been able to spot that mismatch.
Or at least Alonzo be on the glass to grab that rebound. Should have just thrown Chris Childs out of the way.
Seven on the clock.
Sprewell. Thomas put it in.
Kurt Thomas, who used to be a star. One of the couple players in the history of college basketball to lead the nation in scoring and rebounding in the same year. Now he's a role player, but he's one of those guys that just constantly keeps moving.
Mashburn. Mourning had trouble making the catch. And he's fouled.
Alonzo will go back to the hotel and think about this game. Why couldn't I get my brain and my hands working in the same universe?
Too much dunking in college.
Couldn't agree more, Steve.
5:13 on the clock.
You know, we never did get an answer to that question.
A double-double today for Alonzo, but he does not have a blocked shot. Averaging 3 blocks a game in the playoffs. And he misses the free throw. Second half has been a nightmare for Alonzo. Coming up next, it's been a nightmare series for the Utah Jazz. They'll try to break through against Portland in Game 2 of our tripleheader. And in the nightcap, it's the Lakers in action against the Phoenix Suns. Our NBA playoff tripleheader. We're just in Game 1.
Blazers are really playing some ball right now. It has come together. They're healthy. They're hungry. They're confident. Rasheed Wallace has showed one game at least of calming down.
But, you know, in all the years the Jazz have been in the playoffs, they've never been swept, so they're at the bad end of a number right now. Sprewell.
Riley, timeout again.
Sprewell's first points of the second half, but he does have 16 in the game, and he just got his first rebound a couple of moments ago. Here's his latest and his first bucket of the second half. It pushes New York in front 82-73 with 4 minutes 51 seconds left in Game 4. Pat Riley down to 2 full timeouts remaining with 4:51 on the clock. Riley, of course, known as one of the most intense coaches in the game, but we asked him, though, if he still took the setbacks as hard as he used to.
I'm 55, so I don't anymore. You're supposed to let go when you get older, and so I do. I've let go of a lot of things. I had a hard time letting go when I was in my mid-30s, and even in my 40s, I had a hard time letting go of things. But at 55, you know, I hope there's a window of 20 left. 25, you know, God, you know, I start adding them up, you know, and I'm not going to let anything affect my last good 25 or 30. My wife wants 50, but I said, you know what, honey, you don't want to see him get 50 more.
Pat Riley mellowing a bit, at least at age 55.
As you get older, you get more patient, you get more tolerant, you accept things. You might have to let this one go, but when you watch him on the sideline, you would never think that he's any of those things.
Wow, Carter just chasing a miss, almost tipped it back in. Sprewell.
Houston for 3. Hamby saved it right to Carter.
I love the way nice running of the floor here by P.J. Brown.
And a blocking foul called on Chris Childs.
This place was just about to erupt on that Houston 3 if it went in, and that's what turned the Miami Heat loose.
Oh. Chris Giles, he'll put his body out there. This is a guy who's played throughout his career with tons of little nagging injuries, rarely misses a game, always hits big clutch shots for New York, has tremendous confidence in his own game, as does Van Gundy.
Bill, you were in Philadelphia yesterday. You hear these fans stamping on the floor. That's what they were doing in Philly. Is it quite as loud here as it was there?
It was louder, much louder in Philadelphia yesterday. This is one of the quieter days for the New York crowd, for as important as this game is. But with the Knicks in comfortable control here with 7, possibly an insurmountable lead.
Nice play.
And one for Charlie Ward.
Ward comes in, they get ball movement, player movement, they get a score, and the crowd reacts.
But they're attacking through Kurt Thomas. Kurt is passing, he's scoring, he's working on the offensive glass, and he's occupying Alonzo Mourning. Hard to imagine Alonzo having less impact on a game than he's had today.
Ward misses the free throw, but a pattern is developing. Ward has a good game. New York wins. At least they're in front right now. Alonzo Mourning and one, just like he planned it.
Yeah, as he points to the heavens, we know that luck is still a story in the series.
I think Carter taught him that shot.
in the low post. 3, 4, 5 Knicks right in the scene there, but nothing or no one can stop Alonzo Mourning.
Pat Riley said, we've got to grunt it in, and there was a grunt because he had no control of that shot. It turned out to be a three-point play.
If Alonzo Mourning had the shot delivery that Allen Houston does in terms of using his legs, he'd be a lot more effective.
Hamby, wild scramble to the basket, but Marley saves it in under the opponent's goal. Cardinal sin. No basket there as Thomas and Mourning hook up. The foul had already occurred on P.J. Brown.
Now Mourning is saying, what is Thomas going crazy about? I thought the whistle was dead. See, he's not even involved in it. Kurt Thomas is the guy that's all emotional.
The slam dunk, the hard foul. Mourning just throws Kurt Thomas off, and Jack Nice right in between those two.
And the reason for that is Mourning already knew it was a dead play. I'll take a good shot at you to come in here and dunk on me.
Now the two combatants have a few little sly words to each other. Thomas turned sideways at the free throw line, now straightening out. And Camby misses two, and then called for a loose ball foul as he wades in there, knocking bodies like pinballs. So that was a pretty disastrous turn of events for the Knicks.
Well, they had a slam dunk with a possible three-point play that was called off because the foul was committed earlier.
Well, worse yet, they're walking to the other end of the floor. Mourning coming back to the free throw line, and suddenly you could get 5 straight points scored, and what was an insurmountable lead, it could be a 4-point ball game with 3:39 to play.
I just can't believe that Tom called that an insurmountable lead.
22 points and 11 boards, the double-double for Alonzo Mourning. There's no such thing as an insurmountable lead when the Knicks and the Heat play.
Remember yesterday, and Pat Riley told us, you know, this is Madison Square Garden, and I just love being in this place in tight games and in situations like that. He's loving it right now because he thinks his team is on the way back.
Second free throw no good. Ewing just in, takes the rebound. Riley saying situations like this make him realize this is exactly what I want to do, and it's an exhilarating time for coach and team, and he says they have all summer to rest.
No museum here today as Sprewell draws the double team free, and Ewing
try to give it inside to Camby, instead sails it out of bounds. New York turnover.
A decision here by Van Gundy to come with a fourth quarter down the stretch lineup of Marcus Camby instead of Larry Johnson. We'll have to see how that plays out. He was criticized as soundly after game 1, which the Knicks lost in Miami.
And in game 3, which they lost in overtime, Camby indeed was on the court instead of Johnson. Mourning, there's that long jump shot. It rolls out. Mourning once again, though, has gone away from driving toward the basket.
Well, he was fighting the clock that time, so he got a shot in the air, and as lucky as the one that went in, this one was unfortunate not to stay. Knicks fighting the clock now. They're starting to get real tentative. Pin on the clock, turnover, Sprewell.
Marley with a steal. Carter back to Marley for 3. Short. Mourning with a strong rebound is hammered by Camby.
Ewing just can't move laterally. If the ball doesn't come right to him on the defensive backboard, he just so hard for him to get anything as Tim Hardaway looks on and tries to will this ball into the basket, but no chance whatsoever as Alonzo Mourning just too quick with the great footwork.
Little body English from Patrick. Marcus Camby committing his 5th foul puts Alonzo Mourning back at the free throw line. And once again, Alonzo misconnecting on the free throw.
2 missed free throws in a row for Alonzo Mourning. Tough to make a comeback.
He'll be at the line for shot number 2 when we return to the Garden. 2:28 left, fourth quarter. New York leading Miami 84-79. New York with 3 timeouts left. Miami has 2. And Alonzo Mourning will be at the free throw line. He's missed 2 free throws in a row. Leading scores in the game, Mourning tops all with 23. He scored 7 of Miami's last 9 points.
Well, let's remember this. He closed the game out in game 1 by scoring 8 of their last 10 points in that ball game, and they're going to Mourning right now. Van Gundy's got to tell his team, loosen up, play through.
Missed them both, did Alonzo Mourning. 2 crucial free throws, and neither one goes in for Alonzo.
Jeff Van Gundy has come back with Larry Johnson, putting Camby on the bench. For more offensive spacing, and Sprewell, he's taken this.
But every time they've gotten the ball over there, they haven't gotten it in the air. At least they get this one up. Ward saved.
Ewing kept it alive, and Ward went airborne to save it to Sprewell.
And some offensive rebounds from Ewing, from Camby, from Kurt Thomas, really giving the Knicks a huge lift.
Charlie Ward has 7 rebounds. He's done everything today.
Gracefully down the lane. First it was Tim Hardaway that couldn't contain him. Now it's Anthony Carter. Alonzo Mourning, the league's leading shot blocker. Does he even have a block today?
He has 1.
He has 1 block. Has had no success whatsoever with the high teardrop by Charlie Ward.
How long has it been since Charlie Ward got a standing ovation at the Garden? He just did, even though he missed the free throw. He came in with 4 minutes, 15 seconds left, and he has all 4 New York points since that time.
And they need that breathing room that Charlie Ward's trying to give them, because all the Knicks in white are real tight.
And all Mashburn. Tough shot. Alonzo Mourning, a tougher rebound, and he jams it home.
He just took that right away from Patrick Ewing.
25 for Zoe and 14 rebounds. Both Riley and Van Gundy saying the most desperate team always wins in this series. And usually the team coming off a loss is the most desperate. But the man of the hour is Charlie Ward. What do you think this is, the Orange Bowl?
When Charlie Ward starts creating his own shot off his own dribble, he scored the last 6 points for New York. The Heat trail by 7.
Charlie Ward doing it again, and we'll be back to New York after these messages from your local station, the NBA on NBC. 7 with 1 full timeout remaining, and 1:09 on the clock as Charlie Ward has led the Knicks within that amount of time of sending the series back to Miami Wednesday, tied at 2.
Where's the offense going to come from? They're looking for Mashburn or Morley coming for threes. Charlie Ward again.
Pass too tall for Mourning, and Ward is always in the right spot, it seems.
Well, during the last timeout, the crowd chanted through the entire 2 minutes. Charlie, Charlie, Charlie.
Charlie Ward has made it happen on broken plays.
There's the exclamation point.
That's a heat check right there. Oh, Alonzo Mourning, offensive foul with the big pick on Sprewell.
Yeah, that was frustration by Mourning. They had no shot, and they left Charlie Ward wide open. Ward has been the money player down the stretch and punches that 3 in.
Well, here was a guy, Charlie Ward, who had off-season knee surgery. You can see that he doesn't run nearly as fluidly as he used to, have trouble straightening out that leg. Had a broken finger during the course of the season. They're still chanting Charlie.
He scored their last 9 points. It may be his finest game as a New York Knick. Alonzo Mourning, but too little too late. He has 27 in the game. There it is.
Now the sense of desperation shifts back to the Miami Heat, who still have home court advantage. Best 2 out of 3.
Game 5 will be on Wednesday in Miami, with the series now tied at 2 wins each. 91-83 New York wins. Back to talk to the star of the game in just a moment. Here we are even now. Still got a lot of battles to fight.
Welcome back to Madison Square Garden. I'm Jim Gray. The Knicks have now tied up this series at 2, 91-83. The star of the game, Charlie Ward. He scored the last 9 points in the last 4.5 minutes for the Knicks. What ignited you, and was this your best game as a pro?
Well, I'm very grateful. I thank the Lord for everything. You know, my son is here today, first time, and I'd like to wish my mother Happy Mother's Day, and also my wife Happy Mother's Day. I think it's my son. I have to bring him to all the games.
That may be the good luck charm. Now, you have certainly been on the other side of the New York fans. What was it like for you here in the second half, at the end of the game here, to hear them chanting your name and standing ovation?
Well, that's the way the Lord works. When things aren't going well, you're going to get criticized, and when things are going well, you have to stick with it. And, you know, this team is stuck with me the whole year, and, you know, Chris is very supportive and everything that I do, and I'm very grateful for all my teammates.
Congratulations to you, Charlie. We look forward to Game 5.
Thanks, Jim.
All right, back over to you, Tom.
All right, Jim, so the series tied at 2 as it heads back to Miami on Wednesday. For Steve Jones, Bill Walton, and Jim Gray, Tom Hammond saying so long from New York. Now let's go to Mike Breen in Salt Lake City.